Hello, everybody. I'm Todd Leff. I'm Associate Dean at the Graduate School, and I'm going to serve today as the moderator, not the speaker, but the moderator of this session. And I want to make a few remarks before we get started and while we're waiting for maybe a few stragglers to join. The goal of this session is to provide some useful information about the best way to give a 3-minute thesis presentation. This is really centered around an event that I think most of you are aware of. There will be a university-wide competition, a 3-minute thesis competition at the Graduate Symposium next month. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But first, I just wanted to say one very brief remarks about the idea and the purpose and the value of spending a lot of time to develop a 3-minute presentation that encapsulates what is invariably a major part of your life right now. And I think it's a really valuable exercise for multiple reasons. One of the main reasons is that it forces you to think about the very essence of your project, of whatever it is you're working on. And that's something that sometimes gets lost in the day-to-day grind of doing whatever it is you're doing for your thesis project. And this is a way that absolutely forces you to pull out the very essence of what it is that you're working on. I think that by itself makes the whole thing worthwhile. And the other really important thing that is part of the underlying design of the 3-minute thesis is to communicate detailed, technical, highly involved research to the general public. And this is one thing that a lot of us don't do very well. It's obvious from sort of all of the things that have happened during the pandemic and stuff that we don't always do a great job communicating research and scientific or any other kind of academic knowledge to the general public. And that's sort of an underlying goal of the 3-minute thesis is not only condensing what you do to its essence, but doing it in a way that's understandable to the general public. And I think that's just an incredibly valuable exercise. Even if you don't generally, when you're talking about your research to friends and family, you do it in 3 minutes, you do it in a longer period of time, it still is very valuable. Let me just make one additional comment about the 3-minute thesis competition that we're going to have at the Graduate Symposium next month. We've had quite a number of applicants, many more applicants than we can have actually at the symposium. So we are in the process of reviewing the applicants, and we'll announce the finalists, the 3-minute thesis competitors who will actually present at the Graduate Research Symposium this week. And as I think you all know, whoever wins that competition will not only get a fairly substantial prize, a monetary prize, but will be the representative of Wayne State University at the Midwestern Council of Graduate Schools annual symposium, which I believe again this year is virtual. So it'll be you'll be our virtual representative. So that's all I really want to say, but I do want to introduce our speaker today. This is Dr. Nisansala Muthunayake, and I'm sorry I butchered your name, Nisansala. Nisansala has a long history with Wayne State. She is not talking to us from on campus now. She's on the other side of the world at her fairly new faculty position in Sri Lanka. So Nisansala was a graduate student in chemistry and got her PhD and then did a postdoc in biology And after she completed that, found a faculty position in Sri Lanka. So a true success story for Wayne State. And to top it off, and the reason why she's giving the lecture today, she won the competition, the university-wide competition a couple of years ago. And I'm sorry, Nisansala, I don't remember which year it was that you won. It was maybe 3 years ago.
It was actually 2016 when I was a PhD student.
Okay.
Yeah, so I won the first place, and in 2017 I won People Choice Award.
Right. So yeah, I bet those are back in the days when we were all sitting in the same room.
Yes.
And someday we will be again. But anyway, without any further ado on my part, why don't you take it away, Nisansala? And one more quick question. Sorry to drag this out, but if you want to ask questions, I will be monitoring the chat. So during Nisansala's presentation, if you have a question, put it in the chat. And if I think it's an appropriate time, I'll interrupt Nisansala and she can respond to the question. Otherwise, why don't we wait till she's done? There's time for question and answer period where we can turn on our cameras and have a verbal conversation about whatever questions you've got. Is that okay for you, Nisansala?
Yes, it sounds good. Yes.
Okay. All right. Take it away, Nisansala.
Okay. Good afternoon to all of you. And first of all, thank you, Dr. Leff, for giving a kind introduction about me. So I'm Dr. Nisansala. So I'm excited to conduct this virtual workshop on 3-minute thesis of Wayne State University. Okay, so as Dr. Leff mentioned, so the cool experience, this is a cool experience for me because today I'm presenting this workshop from Sri Lanka, my motherland. So maybe some of you don't know about Sri Lanka. So it is a tiny island in the Indian Ocean, the red dot here. And I'm working in Wayamba University, Sri Lanka, WSL. Yeah, but I came from WSU, from Michigan, right? So the time difference is high, but despite the time difference or the distance, I'm happy to conduct this workshop. Thanks to the advanced communication technologies, I'm able to do this. So I'm so excited to present this from the other part of the world. So this is the outline of the presentation today. First I thought to give you, to share with you my 3MT experience, my 3MT journey with Wayne State University. So I thought it's kind of give you some motivation because the purpose of the workshop is to help you to prepare for the 3MT competition in the incoming postgraduate symposium. So I thought to share my story and motivate you. And then we will briefly go through the background information about this concept of 3-minute thesis. And then I will share some tips for a winning 3MT competition. I say like 3 tips. I'm not only discuss about 3 tips, but I'm going to discuss different tips of 3MT under 3 main topics. And then, as I mentioned before, the purpose of the workshop is to prepare you for the 3MT competition of Wayne State. So I will briefly go through specific information about 3MT competition of Wayne State. And I think Dr. Lefty is also there and he will help me with that. And then finally, I will give you some recommendations for a winning 3MT competition, and then we can have a Q&A session. So that's the flow of our discussion today. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat box and we can discuss them later. Okay, so first I will tell who am I. So as I mentioned before, currently I'm working in Sri Lanka. I'm a senior lecturer in biochemistry in a newly established medical faculty in my hometown. And before that, as Dr. Leff mentioned, I have a history about like 88 years history with Wayne State University. because I completed my postdoctoral research 3 years in Wayne State Biological Sciences Department, and I also graduated from Wayne State. My advisor is Dr. Christy Chow. I did my PhD in biochemistry and then completed my postdoc in biochemistry in Wayne State. So I would like to introduce myself to you as a proud alumni of Wayne State. And I gained, in addition to my PhD and research experience, I gained a lot of things from Wayne State. So I'm happy to. So 3MT is one milestone of my PhD, and I'm very excited today to share that experience with you. And I hope that will encourage you for this competition. So then why I am here today? So briefly, I will tell you my 3MT story. I started, I applied for 3MT when I was doing my PhD. So I was in Dr. Christy Chow's lab, and those days actually my thesis advisor, Dr. Chow, so she wanted us to participate in these professional development events other than doing research in the lab. So we were chemists, and we spend most of our time in the lab, but she wanted us to go outside and participate in these kind of professional development events and improve our soft skills as well, in addition to our chemistry research. And as a result of that, with my lab mates, I participated into 3MT workshop, which was organized by the Graduate School in 2015 fall. And then Dr. Anne-Marie Cano was doing that workshop, and she actually motivated us. It was a very nice professional development workshop, and that is the first time I heard about this word 3MT, the concept of 3MT. And after the workshop, I thought I'm going to apply for this competition because it seems like a very cool experience. When I thought about it, I feel like, okay, so it's quite challenging, but I want to give a try. So that's how I applied for 2016 3MT competition. That's the first time Wayne State organized this 3MT competition. So in 2016, I won the first place of 3MT competition of Wayne State. And the next year, actually in 2017, we had a formal 3MT competition in the university because in 2016, since it was the first time, first we have to submit a video, and then they select a winner from that one. So it's a little bit complex at the beginning, but in 2017, there was a well-organized competition, and I won People Choice Award in this 2017 competition. So actually, I was an international student. So when I was thinking to apply for this competition, I thought like maybe my accent is different and it's kind of challenging, but somehow I could, I think it's a great accomplishment for me as a PhD student, especially as an international PhD student. And in addition to these 3MT awards, later on when I was doing my postdoc in Wayne State, I got the opportunity to contribute to this 3MT competition of Wayne State in different ways. For example, in 2019, I served as a judge of the 3MT competition of the Research Symposium. And 2019, I conducted the Graduate Professional Development Seminar as a resource person. So like that, this is like the experience that I have with 3MT competition of Wayne State University. So these are the things that brought me today to tell you about, to share with you about my 3MT experience. So with this in my 3MT journey, so I have nice memories, and these are some clicks that I love to see about my 3MT thesis. So this is when I won in 2017. So here I am with other winners. So this is the time that I won the People Choice Award, and Dr. Anne-Marie Can, so she was also there. So she was the one who conducted the 3MT session for us and who motivated us and helped us to participate in this competition. So with that, memories of 3MT competition, I want to share one important thing with you. So after participated and after I won the People Choice Award of 3MT competition, so I received this micro credential badge from Wayne State Graduate School. So this is actually an electronic badge or a certification that I can share in my LinkedIn, which I can include it into my CV. So this is actually something very important for me, especially when I wanted to show my prospective employers that I have skills other than chemistry research. This was very helpful. So, I mean, these things are very encouraging to students like us. So I think these facts would helpful for you to apply for the 3MT thesis competition this year and get the experience of this 3MT. So with that, let's go through some information about this 3MT concept. So 3-minute thesis, it is a research communication competition or a skill development activity. And this was actually initiated by the University of Queensland in 2008. So however, now this concept, it has spread all over the world, and now it has become an annual competition in more than 200 universities worldwide. So it's very popular now. And the challenging part of 3MT is that the time. So you have to present your research work within 3 minutes. So it has to be a very short presentation. And the other challenging part is that you have to use a single static slide to give the tell the audience what is your research. So that's very so these are very important facts. So it has to be 3 minutes and you can use only one slide. So the other thing is that you have to do a very compelling presentation because you're giving this presentation to a general audience or a non-specialist audience. So usually when you give a talk, you know, like in your research, sometimes you talk, when you give a talk in your research to your research team, you have your peers and people who know about your research. Therefore, you do not have to go to very simple level because they are familiar with what you are doing, right? And even if you give a talk in a conference, it's the same thing. So compared to those research communications, 3MT is different because the idea of 3MT is to explain your research to a non-specialist audience. So I highlighted these few things: 3 minutes, single slide, and a compelling presentation to a non-specialist audience. So these are the most important facts about 3-minute thesis concept. So as I mentioned in the beginning, so today with my experience, I'm going to share some tips for a successful 3-minute thesis competition or to do a 3-minute presentation. And I'm going to discuss these facts or tips under 3 main topics. So I would say now before you participate into a 3-minute competition or prior to your 3-minute presentation, you should ask 3 questions from you. Okay, so the first one is, how does your research relate to the real world? So in this case, simply you have to think about what is the big picture of your research. Okay, so what is the take-home message that you are going to give to the audience about what you are doing in the lab? Okay, so that's the first thing. And the next one is how you are going to deliver this message, how you are going to grab the attention of the audience to give this message. Okay, for that, we are going to discuss these points in detail later, but it's also important the way that you're going to deliver your thesis within 3 minutes to a non-specialist audience. Okay, so the last one is how much you practice for your 3-minute thesis. Okay, so the practice is very important because this is very challenging compared to other research communication methods. So you have to practice, and the practice make it perfect. Okay, so let's go through each topic little detail. So the first one is how does your research is going to change the world? So as I mentioned before, in this one, you have to think about what is the big picture of your research, how your research is going to change the world, or what is the impact of that to the world. Okay, and the audience should know what you are doing and why you are doing that. Okay, so you should give answers to those two questions: what you are doing in your research and why you are doing that, and how that is going to impact the world. Okay, simply you have to think about what is the take-home message of your presentation. So here now, for example, it's like you're explaining your research to your grandma. Okay, so if your grandma asks you, what are you doing in your research? Now, in my case, now I'm showing you my thesis title. So my thesis title is Investigation of the in vivo activity of ribosome targeting peptides and aminoglycosides in E. coli or Escherichia coli. So it has a lot of scientific words, right? Scientific jargon. Escherichia coli, in vivo, ribosome, peptides. So if I tell this to my grandma, she may not understand what I'm doing. Okay, but you have, if she asks me what you are doing, I simply say, okay, I'm trying to find a drug to kill germs. So I think, so like that, you have to distill your research into a simple idea or to an easy message. So, so here I just put my thesis title and 3MT title just to show you the difference. So when it comes to my 3MT title, so it is combat antibiotic resistance, no action today, no cure tomorrow. Okay, so in my research, I was trying to find drugs to inhibit bacteria to overcome this worldwide issue of antibiotic resistance. So that's what I'm trying to do. And that's what I included in my 3MT title, simply to tell the audience what is the big picture of my research. So this is very important when you think about how to deliver your 3MT message to the non-specialist audience. Okay, and then the next one is how we are going to grab the attention of the audience. Okay, so here I would say you should have a clear idea about what you are doing. Okay, you should have a clear idea about the outcome of your research. Okay, and then try to identify what are the exciting or the interesting facts about your research. Okay, in that case, you can create an attractive opening statement. So try to include that interesting part into the opening statement of your talk. Okay, and then you can show how important is your research, and at the beginning you can tell the audience, you can grab the attention at the beginning. Okay, so this is what I'm doing, and this is how my research is going to change the world, and let me tell the rest of my story. Okay, so that's what you have to do. Your opening statement has to be very attractive, and you should grab the audience from the first statement. So when you write your story or when you write your talk, think about this tip. Okay, so the next one, when you are presenting, you have to show how excited you about your research, and you have to show your enthusiasm. Okay, so this is exciting. My work is exciting, and I'm happy to do that. So like that, you have to show how much you like to do your research and how exciting it is. In order to tell these things, I think your body language, your eye contact, and also facial expressions and voice control, these things are very important, and it plays a big role when it comes to delivering of your message in an interesting way. So simply I say, it's like you are telling, you're acting like a storyteller. Okay, so think about now, we all have the experience listening to a story, right? When you listen to a story from a storyteller or your grandma, right? So you can see how much we attracted to the story, right? And they're using like different facial expressions, and they use their hands, and like they move their body and try to explain the story in an interesting way to keep your attention. So you have to do the same thing. Okay, so don't, when you write the story of your research, it does not have to be a academic research. It doesn't have to be a research paper. Okay, which means you should not include a lot of jargons like scientific words. Try to make it very simple. Okay, so that's one thing you have to think about when you write your story. Since I mentioned about the voice control, right? So when you deliver your message, remember to pause at key points, okay? So your voice plays a big role, okay? Sometimes you can stress some important facts, and then you can reduce your voice, and then like that, make sure to control your voice throughout your talk. And that's also very helpful to convey your message and keep or grab the attention of the audience. Okay, so I think these are some facts about how you're going to keep the attention of the audience. Okay. The next important fact is that how we are going to improve your talk with the practice. So simply, I will tell you that practice makes it perfect. So practice many times, because as I mentioned before, this is a challenging thing, because you have to deliver your thesis work within 3 minutes. So the time plays a big role. So you have to pay attention to the time, and for that, you have to practice it many times. So here actually now, I want to give you one recommendation. We will discuss this later again. That is, you have to record, or you can do the videotaping of your presentation, and you can watch and listen to your talk, and then you can identify the points or the places that you have to do the voice controlling thing. Okay, where to pause, and where if you feel like you're talking very fast, then you can fix those things, right? So in order to identify the weaknesses, this is something you have to do. Okay, record your talk and listen to it, and that is very helpful, and it helped me a lot when I was preparing for my 3-minute thesis presentation. Another thing is that it's very normal that you feel nervous before the presentation. It's very natural, right? Because this is a challenging task. Even with practice, if you feel nervous, it's very normal. But keep in mind that it is important to practice, because then you can present it very confidently and clarity. Therefore, practice is very important. So you have to do it for many times prior to the competition. Okay, so I think those are the main tips that I wanted to discuss with you. And I thought it's good to watch some 3MT videos, and then yeah, we can comment on those, and you can see like what are the good and bad things about these 3MT competitions, 3MT presentations, and the facts. Yeah, I think that's helpful for you to watch these ones. So let's watch the first one. So this is actually my 3MT video, the one that I presented in Wayne State. So let's watch it, and yeah, you can see what are the good and weak points of these ones. Yeah.
When I woke up in the morning, I certainly didn't plan to revolutionize all medicine by discovering the world's first antibiotic. But I guess that was exactly what I did. Okay, so this is what Sir Alexander Fleming famously wrote after his accidental discovery of penicillin, the first antibiotic in 1928. Today, none of us can imagine living in a world without antibiotics. But the problem is, for the last few decades, people have been overusing these drugs. As a result of that, bacteria become less sensitive to antibiotics, causing the problem of antibiotic resistance, a public health crisis. In 2015, it was reported that bacterial infections caused more than 23,000 deaths and over 1 million diseases in the United States every year. So it is obvious that bacterial infections are spreading faster than the introduction of new drugs to kill bacteria. So it is urgent and necessary to develop new drugs with antibacterial activity. So this is where my research comes into play. The ultimate goal of my research is to identify small molecules with antibacterial activity. The drugs we are studying are not very complex molecules. They are small drugs called peptides. So the first question is, what are these peptides? So peptides are components of proteins which are natural, non-toxic, and most importantly can be easily manipulated as drugs. So the next question is, how can we control bacteria using our drugs? So our rationale is as follows. If a drug can bind to an important part of the bacteria cell, it can block the function and reduce the growth of bacteria. So our strategy is something similar to what I show in this slide. So it's like disrupting the production line of a busy factory by adding something to disrupt the production machinery. So that's why we selected the bacterial ribosome, the protein production machinery of bacteria cell, as our drug target. So in our lab, we identify small drugs specifically bind to bacterial ribosome using special selection techniques. And one interesting finding is that the drugs we found specifically bind the bacterial ribosome over human ribosomes, which means our drugs do not cause any harm or they do not toxic to human cells. So currently, we are doing further modifications to enhance the antibacterial activity of our drugs, which we hope will lead to an effective drug one day. The theme of the World Health Day in 2011 was Combat Antibiotic Resistance. No action today, no cure tomorrow. So I'm really happy to be a part of a research team combating the problem of antibiotic resistance. Thank you.
Okay, so that's the first one. I mean, if you want, you can comment on that and go to the next one. So what do you think? You have any suggestions? I mean, what are the things? Now we discussed some tips for a 3MT presentation. So what are the things that you see in my presentation? So this is the one that I gave. Or what are the things you think that I had to improve in my 3MT? So we can have a small discussion of each presentations if you want.
Sure, I think that's a great idea, Nisansala.
Yeah, yes.
I wouldn't mind asking, well, it's not a question, but making an observation that I think is important for, you did not present any data. And, you know, one of the things that doesn't work very well in a 3MT usually is a graph or a chart that requires detailed explanation. But you somehow managed to explain the reasonable amount of detail what you're actually doing to in your research project. So I think that's a crucial aspect of this. I know in things that I've seen that don't work very well is sometimes because there's too much detailed actual results that people are trying to present, and that is, I mean, it's hard to resist that because you work so hard and you develop all these results. You want to show somebody the numbers that you got or whatever it is, and that you didn't do that, and it worked beautifully. So I think that's one potential takeaway from that. I don't know if you agree with that assessment or not, but.
Yes, actually, Dr. Lev, it's a good comment. As you mentioned, I didn't talk much about the findings, but I mentioned one thing because I wanted to, like, we found out that the drugs we found, those do not bind to human ribosomes. It only binds to bacteria. So that's the specificity. So that's something we found from our binding data. But, you know, I cannot go to that specific levels and mention about binding curves and those things. So I simply said, we found out that these drugs are specific for bacteria, but not for humans. So that's one thing I mentioned there. But as you said, I didn't talk too much about the findings. So that's like something that I mentioned, which comes under the findings category. But yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, okay. And there's a question in the chat or a comment from Louis. Perhaps walking while talking will present a more fluid-like speech. And I think that's probably true. I mean, it sort of depends on your personal style about how you like to present, but a casual, which actually I thought you had very well, Nisansala, that is sort of a casual demeanor or personal demeanor on stage. And if walking helps with that, that's great.
Yeah. So,
and I should also point out that in the case of a virtual 3MT, like we're going to have, that's not really a part of the of the story. Oh, and then Ariana has a comment that's great. She said, I liked how you clearly said the goal is in quotes, and you did. You made that very clear. This you gave the specific primary goal of your research, and that's very important. And you did a good job with that.
Yeah. So here I wanted to mention one thing. So this is not the 3MT presentation. I mean, this is not the one that I recorded in my competition. Okay, so this is in this presentation, I talk in front of a camera because we did a separate video to post on Wayne State website. So I have to talk in front of the camera, which is a little bit uncomfortable for me compared to talk in front of the audience. So even when I watch it now, I feel like it's a little bit faster and it sounds like a very solid talk, but that thing is there because after I did this video recording, I felt like, oh my God, the talk that I gave on the symposium day is way better than this one.
Yeah,
because I feel like it's very fast, right? So
that's a little bit of an artifact of the way we were able to do it in the past, where the actual competition was in person, and then we asked the winners to come to the studio and record their talk, which is you're in an environment that you weren't accustomed to. That's another thing that's a little bit different in the virtual world, because we will actually use the recording of your presentation as the recording of your 3-minute thesis that we'll send to the graduate school if you're to the Midwestern Council of Graduate Schools if you're the winner. So there's essentially everybody's in a studio this year.
Yeah, because when I gave that in-person one, I mean, I had chance to move because when I talk, I like to walk a little bit. So I came to the stage, like I started my story and said, when I woke up in the morning, so I was walking and I came to the stage and then so it has a floor when I was doing in the real competition, but here it's a little bit different. It's not very comfortable.
It looks like there's a question. Somebody has their hand raised. Nisansala, you want to unmute yourself and ask your question? Maybe looks like he took his hand down. So, okay. Any other questions? Do you want to do another presentation, Nisansala?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
I've got a question.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I joined in late because I was having trouble signing in. So I could not follow your initial slides, but I think we are going to get the recording link so I can go through. But I wanted to ask you this question, like my project has like 2 applications, like it's also used in the healthcare industry, and it's also used towards environmental pollution monitoring. So how do you have any suggestion how I could go through, because these are like 2 different things, and to establish kind of a flow in my 3-minute thesis presentation, I'm actually or I was trying to look up for suggestions from you.
So can you please tell me, like, so you mentioned that your research is related to healthcare industry, right? And then something about environmental pollution as well. So some that's what you meant, right?
So I can tell you that like my sensor is able to detect like surfactant molecules, as well as it can detect proteins. So it has like 2 very big application. One is like it's going to tackle the PFOS contamination, which is a huge issue right now in Michigan. And at the same time, it has like COVID applications, like it can detect IgG antibiotics. So I don't know how to form a narrative, like both are like really big, impactful applications. So I pick up one thing.
Yeah, no, actually, this is something just came to my mind. So when you said like, okay, the sensor that I'm developing has more than one application. So I feel like you can focus that point as well, right? One sensor for many applications, something like that. So something just came to my mind. But if you want, like, I can help you with your 3MT, giving you some advice, you can contact me. But that's it. That's something just came to my mind. Why you just confined to one? You can just join your slide. So I'm developing a sensor which has more than one application, right? So I'm not sure whether it's a good suggestion, but that's something just came to my mind. Because you said it has many impacts. Yeah. So what do you think, Dr. Lev?
That's a very interesting question. And that certainly is one approach to it. Another approach is that you pick the application that you think would be most meaningful to the lay audience. But you work into your presentation, maybe at the end, by saying, in addition to all of that, there is a secondary application that we're also working on. So this is a sort of multifaceted project, but you leave the audience with the most knowledge about one of the things, the main, whatever you view as the most, I'm sure you view both of them as important, but whatever you view as the most accessible application of your sensor. It's a tough problem. That is a very tough problem. And it sort of gets to this point of how do you pick out what is the most crucial thing about what you're doing for your thesis project? And that you have an especially difficult issue with that particular characteristic.
Okay, that's really helpful. Thank you so much.
Sure. Any other questions?
So,
okay.
Shall I? Yeah.
Yep.
So shall I go ahead with the next one? Yeah. So when I check the participant list, I noticed that in addition to people from STEM, I saw we have some students participated from other disciplinaries as well. So I picked this presentation. So this is presented by Erin Perry. So she's the second place winner and People's Choice winner of 2019 Wayne State 3MT. So let's listen to Erin's talk and see what you can get from her talk, okay?
These three women are news anchors in Metro Detroit. Amy Andrews, Rhonda Walker, and Alicia Smith work for channels 2, 4, and 7. Like many news anchors, they work for organizations that expect them to engage with audiences on Facebook, the social media platform that had 2.3 billion monthly active users in the fourth quarter of 2018. Amy Andrews has about 56,000 followers. Rhonda Walker has about 15,000, and Alicia Smith has about 14,500. The anchors post about their personal and professional activity, and their Facebook followers seem to feel a sense of closeness to them. For example, one of Amy Andrews' followers posted on her page that he had just become a great-grandfather, and he just wanted to let her know. When Rhonda Walker got engaged last year, that post had about 2,000 likes, 700 comments, and 80 shares. As for Alicia Smith, she's been asked when she and her husband will be having children. So my study asks this: how do journalist-audience relationships online affect the perception of journalists, news products, and the profession overall? My study aims to understand how Facebook is abundant ground for something called parasocial interaction. Now, parasocial interaction theory is a theory about an intimate, one-way connection that feels real to an audience member, even while absent of real-life interpersonal communication. While parasocial interaction originally started as a theory that examined television, my study expands communication scholarship by studying the social media platform that has been the most widely used in the last decade. Through analyzing what the journalists post, as well as conducting surveys with their followers, my study aims to measure 4 things: the influence of journalists in online interactions with audiences, audience perception of journalists, audience perception of news products, and audience perception of the journalism profession overall. So why should you care? Before social media, Parasocial interaction was in the mind of the beholder, but social media has given journalists expansive, sophisticated power in that interaction, changing what used to be organic influence into calculated influence at their fingertips.
Yeah. So what do you think about her talk? What are the things you learned from that one? Any comments?
There's nothing in the chat. Feel free
Yeah.
to unmute yourself. Anybody has a question? I would make
Yes.
one comment about this. It points out one of the interesting things about 3MT and about communicating your research to the general public. And it's that there are definitely some projects that are more automatically engaged or engageable by the general public because the research is on something that is more close or similar or part of everyday experience. And this is an example where the topic is something we're all familiar with because we all participate in news. And it sort of points out the greater challenge that some of us in extremely technical fields have, where the research is on things that are not part of everyday experience. And in those cases, you have to make sort of a leap about how it is that what you're doing relates to something in everyday experience. And when that works, it's great because it sort of expands everybody's understanding of things. But it is a bigger challenge for highly technical things. So I do have something in the chat here. Oh, yeah, Jennifer said she's interested to see what the results of the study was. Yeah. Let's see. And Ariana said, she said, my story about 4 times, which I would refrain from repeating. That's true. I would agree with that. But I like how she mentioned, why should you care in regards to her research? That is a great way to sort of approach the whole problem of telling other people what you do is why should you care? You think about that carefully and it can inform how you actually tell somebody about what you're doing. Julia said, I was glad to see one where the findings aren't in yet. Good point. And that's absolutely true. There does not have to be findings. This can be about your project and why your project is important, why your question is important. The language of my research aims to was helpful. Yeah, very nice. Nisansala, you have any comments about those?
Yeah, so I can't remember the name, but someone mentioned that I do not have findings yet. I do not have data, but I think it doesn't matter, right, Dr. Lev? So,
That's
I mean,
right.
you can tell what is the big picture. This is what I'm trying to do, and this is how it's going to apply in the real world. So I think the data doesn't matter. Even first-year PhD student also can come and explain us what's the PhD proposal, what is it about. So I think it doesn't matter whether you have or have not data to present.
Yeah, and in that context, what you're presenting is why your idea is important,
Right.
as opposed to maybe right before you graduate and you have results, you say, why is my discovery important? And both are very reasonable and proper topics for 3MT.
Yes. So I have 2 more 3MTs to share with students. If we have time, I can play those 2 as well.
I think these are informative, and we have time for at least one more. See how many questions we got.
Okay. Yep. Christopher. Yes, I would go with this one.
So today, I'm here to teach you how to grow an ear using fat. Now, you're probably thinking I'm either crazy or wasting my time because this has already been done before. You've all seen the photo of the mouse with the ear on its back? Well, sadly, it hasn't.
Nisansala, we
Whilst
can't
it's
see
made for a
the
great
video.
photo, it's not delivered us anything we've been able to translate to human use.
I'm sorry, Dr. Leff.
We cannot see the video. We're seeing the screen with the links on it.
Okay, give me one.
This
Can
happens-
you see?
Yeah, now we see there we go. Okay.
So why is it important? Well, 1 in every 4.
Let me. Yes.
Great.
Here we go. Yes.
So today, I'm here to teach you how to grow an ear using fat. Now, you're probably thinking I'm either crazy or wasting my time because this has already been done before. You've all seen the photo of the mouse with the ear on its back? Well, sadly, it hasn't. Whilst this made for a great photo, it's not delivered us anything we've been able to translate to human use. So why is it important? Well, 1 in every 4,000 children are born missing either one or both of their ears. And the surgical procedure that we perform to reconstruct this requires us to remove ribs from the patient, and the cartilage from those ribs is used to carve a new ear. This is a major operation with significant risks and significant complications. And therefore, I believe there must be a better solution, and the ability to grow an ear would be a major step forwards. So back to our mouse. It didn't fix the problem, but it showed us 2 key principles that if you want to engineer any tissue, you need one of 2 things. Firstly, the right type of cells, and secondly, the right scaffold on which they will grow. And this is the basis of my project, to identify cells and scaffolds that I can use to grow cartilage for ear reconstruction. So the human body is an organism whose lifespan is measured in decades. But the individual cells which comprise it have a lifespan which is measured in only days. It's therefore intuitive that the body must contain populations of cells that are capable of replenishing and renewing itself. And these are our stem cells. Mesenchymal stem cells, the stem cells that can regenerate cartilage, live in direct relationship to the smallest of blood vessels found throughout the human body. This means that we can purify these stem cells from a readily accessible, and in my case, readily abundant source. Adipose tissue is a fantastic source of stem cells. So I found the cells, now I need to find the scaffold. Polymers. Polymers are long chains of molecules which have shown the ability to support cell growth. Using a special printer, I've screened a library of over 2,000 individual polymers. And from that, I've identified 5 specific polymers which allow my stem cells to attach, proliferate, and then subsequently differentiate into cartilage-like cells. The final 12 months of my project is going to be dedicated to turning these polymers into 3-dimensional scaffolds that I can use to grow pieces of cartilage for ear reconstruction. Am I excited about my project? Yeah, I really am. Are you excited about what you've heard? I really hope so, and thank you for listening.
Okay. Obviously, pretty impressive. Ariana, you have a question. I see your hand up.
Yes, hi, thank you so much for providing these videos. It's been really insightful. I liked what he was presenting about, but speaking on behalf of a non-medical person such as myself, I felt a little lost at times. Particularly would have appreciated if on his one slide, he had written at least the polymers that he was talking to rather than just saying them all in kind of like a list. I like the visuals in terms of I think he wrote like the project and then the progress, But I think that maybe focusing more on, again, adhering to the audience in terms of not everybody knows what you're talking about, but it would apply to that.
Very good points. Yep, I agree. Several images on the slide were sort of for, well, I wouldn't say shock value, but for a graphical impact. And he didn't actually talk about directly. Anyway, he talked about them in general, but he didn't talk directly about parts of the slide, which is fine. I mean, it does illustrate the power of a really striking image on your slide, because there were several of them on his slide. Brooklyn also has a question.
I like that he led with his punchline. I think it was really concise and it was easier to follow along knowing what we were talking about. Whereas the video before this, where she's talking about the news being almost calculated, we didn't get that point until all the way at the end. So it was constantly like listening to see what we were building up for. Whereas this one, it was like I was having the conversation with him instead of listening to him have the conversation. So I liked that.
Yeah, great point. And it sort of illustrates two different approaches to presenting a topic in any context, 3-minute thesis or 1-hour seminar. You sort of build up the suspense and string the audience along and then hit them with the punchline at the end? Or do you tell them the result at the beginning and then tell this interesting story about how you got to that result? And they both can both be done well, but they are different approaches. And I thought his was great, and he did it with humor and
Yes.
very engaging.
Yeah, so that's the point that I want to show in his presentation, Dr. Leff, because he had bit humor, right? So, I mean, that make it better. So yes, I think you can do that, but too much humor is also not good. You have to keep the quality of your presentation, and it should not distract your audience.
It's
But
not a stand-up act, right?
right. So it worked well in his presentation. Yes.
The other thing that really came out in his presentation, basically in all of the presentations, is a sense that the presenter loves the project or is super enthusiastic about the project. And that's crucial. And that is one way to really bring an audience in. If you are exuding enthusiasm, then that's usually easy for the audience to absorb, and it increases engagement. And that guy was great at it. Right.
Yeah, so I have one more, but I'm not sure whether we have enough time.
I think that we try to keep these on time, Nisansala. So let's see, let me check the time. Let's go ahead and do it. We can go over for a few minutes. Okay. I think these are very valuable to see.
Right. Yeah. So.
This is Doreen Thompson. In the summer of 2013,
you need to switch the screen. We're still looking at the
mother of two, went a routine mammogram, but the results blindsided her. Doctors found cancer in the milk ducts of her left breast.
Okay, sorry for that.
This is Doreen Thompson. In the summer of 2013, the 58-year-old married, mother of two, underwent a routine mammogram, but the results blindsided her. Doctors found cancer in the milk ducts of her left breast. Within a month, Doreen had undergone surgery for removal of her tumor and prepared with her family for the 3 to 5 weeks of daily radiation treatments that she now faced to ensure that any remaining cancerous cells were eradicated. Instead, Doreen was offered an alternative. In November 2013, she became the first patient in Alberta to undergo permanent breast seed implant, or PBSI. Under general anesthetic, her oncologist implanted 93 small, radioactive seeds into the cavity that previously held her tumor. She spent 2 hours in the operating room and returned home that same night. 6 days later, she was back at work, and her life was going back to normal. PBSI was pioneered in Toronto, with their first implant performed in 2004. Since Doreen underwent Alberta's first procedure, An additional 17 patients at the Tom Baker Cancer Center in Calgary, Alberta, have avoided weeks of radiation fractions by instead opting for PBSI. In addition to the condensed timeline of treatment offered by PBSI, it also appears to lead to a reduction in acute skin reactions when compared to external beam radiation, the current standard of care for early-stage breast cancer. Presently, PBSI is only offered at a handful of centers nationwide. Consequently, there is a vital need to explore uncertainties in the procedure and optimize the treatment to make it accessible to more women. My research focuses on identifying and quantifying these uncertainties and developing recommendations to minimize their impact on treatment. I'm investigating the motion of seeds after the implant due to both healing and patient movement. This will allow me to determine the effect on the radiation dose delivered to the target volume and to nearby healthy organs, such as the lungs and the heart. Additionally, I'm developing training programs for oncologists using gel breast molds that I have designed and constructed. This research is critical to the continued safety and success of this treatment. The prevalence of breast cancer is an ongoing challenge, and PBSI is an attractive treatment alternative for select patients like Doreen. My research will allow for improvements to this technique by identifying and quantifying uncertainties and helping minimize their impact on treatment. For select patients like Doreen, this can be the difference between 5 days a week for 3 straight weeks in the cancer center and getting back to life that much faster. Thank you.
Okay. Any comments or questions
This
on
is the
on that?
greatest time in the world to sell what you know. Knowledge is the new currency, and I'm doing something I've never done before. I'm pulling back the curtain for a 3-hour training called The Secrets to Scale.
Is that you?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Sometimes YouTube can really get on top of you fast. There you go.
Okay.
All right.
I had a comment about the last 2 videos. When you're thinking about the 3MT presentation, the last 2 felt very science speak and less relatable to an audience that is not in those fields. So when we're doing the 3MT, are we trying to translate our research to a more generalized audience, or are we still using language that communicates what we're trying to do? Because I kind of felt like the last 2 videos did not achieve that.
That's a great question, and it sort of brings up the essence of the difficulty for almost everybody is the language that's used to describe what you're working on. And you're right, in both of these sort of medical cases, there was some terminology in it. It's a little hard for me to judge because it's closer to my area of expertise, so it didn't sound too inaccessible, but I know exactly what you mean. And in some cases, I think better word choices could have been made, and loss of some technical jargon. I'm not sure that I'd characterize either of those as very jargony, but certainly use technical terms. And sometimes there's no way around it. The term, the name for something is a technical term, and it has to be explained, and in some cases should be explained. But yeah, it's a very good point. I don't know, Nisansala, if you'd like to weigh in on that as well.
So I think I have to tell the same thing, because my field, now I'm a biochemist. So when I was trying to give my 3MT, I try my best to get rid of some scientific words, but sometimes it's a bit hard to do that. For example, I had to explain to the audience what is protein and what are peptides, but I couldn't get rid of the word molecules. So I noticed the same thing in previous presentations as well. So I think when we're trying to deliver this kind of technical or more scientific research, it's a bit challenging, but we have to try our best to make it general. So that's the idea about 3MT. So I agree with what she said. It's a bit scientific. Even I think my presentation is also, I think it's something like that. I think it also had some scientific jargon, so it's good. I mean, we have to try our best to get rid of those and make it more generalized and addressing to a non-specific audience. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other comments? Brooklyn, you still have your hand up, or is that a leftover?
This is a new hand.
Oh, okay.
So before we got into these, it was mentioned that our tone of voice and how we speak is important. And I didn't really think about it with the other videos, but with her specifically, she sounded a little bit panicked or rushed. And I think it kind of made me question her credibility just because she didn't sound sure of herself.
Yeah, I agree. She was almost sounded a little bit like she was hyperventilating. And that's just probably stage nerves. But that is an important point, sound confident. And as unnervous as possible. I mean, we all have nerves when we get up on stage to talk in front of an audience, but that's a good point. Thank you.
Yes. So I have a few more slides. I'm not sure whether we have enough time to go through all of these. Yes. So basically, I mean, I think I do not have to discuss in details about these ones because you can find this information from Wayne State Graduate School website. Because the purpose of the workshop is to prepare you for 3MT workshop. So that's why I decided to include these things. So I'm not going to tell each and every point. For this information, please check the Wayne State website. All of this information.
The grad school website, right?
Yes, graduate school website, the rules and the judging criteria. But I want to mention one thing, the PowerPoint slide. So your PowerPoint slide plays a big role. And when you present your talk in the stage, or it's like they show the presentation throughout your talk. So it's actually very helpful to have in your slide with you, but make sure that you are the presentation, not the slide. So it should not detract you, right? So you have to keep the eye contact and never turn back to the audience. So make sure that the slide must enhance your presentation, but not distract the audience from you. So here actually I included the different versions of my PowerPoint slides and how did I come up with the winning version. So this is the first slide that I showed to my PhD advisor when I'm preparing for the presentation. So I just included the title and show some tablets someone is holding, and I showed the bacteria ribosome. And when I showed this to her, she was like, so what's the story behind this one? And what is this thing? People know it's ribosome, and what is 50 years? What is 30 years, like that? So it's not like convincing what I'm trying to do, right? So she said, go and come up with another idea. Think simply about what your research is doing. And then I thought, okay, so I'm developing drug, it binds to bacteria. So it binds to ribosome and it kills bacteria. So I came up with this idea. And then I went and showed to her, okay, now this is my slide. So what do you think? And she said, okay, now it is way better than what you showed me before. But think something simply, okay? The general audience should understand what kind of thing happened with this drug. She said, so what happened in a factory? If you think bacteria is like a factory, right? So what happened to a machinery if you block it? Come up with an idea. Then I thought, okay, so this is what she wants me to do. Okay, so then I thought if the bacteria is like a complex factory, a busy factory, there are machines inside. So ribosome is a machine that produces the protein. And when there is no any disturbances, the production line is going okay. It gives the product. But by adding something, if you block the machinery, you cannot see the production. So this is the analogy that I was trying to show in my PowerPoint presentation. And actually that helped me a lot to improve my talk as well. I mentioned, so it is similar to how a busy factory works. If you block the machinery, it stops the function or the production. So that's the same thing happened in bacteria cell. So I think I thought to share this one to show how I came up with the winning version of my PowerPoint presentation. And the other thing, you do not have to put too much text on your PowerPoint presentation. I mean, you can just include images to give the message, but in my case, I had to include some text to give the message. So that's one thing I wanted to share, how I came up with my PowerPoint presentation. And this is actually something from, this is a PowerPoint slide from Praneet Marwa. She was the first place winner of 2019 3MT competition of Wayne State. And Praneet was a PhD student in biological sciences. And when I was doing my postdoc research there, so one day she came to me and told me, so I'm thinking to participate in this presentation. Can you help me with that? And then actually she had the idea. This is not my idea, but I helped her to improve her slide. So basically in her research, she's trying to find a drug, or she's trying to study the effect of dopamine on Parkinson's disease. So she said that she found out both of these celebrities, Michael J. Fox and Muhammad Ali, a well-known boxer. They both were suffering from Parkinson's disease. And then she said, can't we include them into this slide? And then she started, in her open statement, she said, do you know what is the common thing about these two celebrities, Muhammad Ali and Michael J. Fox? They're both suffering from Parkinson's disease. So like that, she grabbed the attention of the audience to deliver her talk. So I just included this one to show you how you have to think about the application of your research and how you are going to relate it to the real world. So I think this is also a very good example, a good slide with that idea. Yes, and here again, I included one slide to tell you what are the rules of our 3MT presentations in Wayne State. And I think Dr. Leff also mentioned some specific information there, so I'm not going to read the slide. You can find this information in our graduate school website. And yes, so the symposium, the presentations will be on the last day of the research symposium, Thursday, March 10th. So I think the prior registration is required. You have to submit your 1-minute video, and then you have to get selected to present on the research symposium day. So please check the graduate school website for more information and apply for 3MT of Wayne State. And then, yes, just get this cool experience. So that's what I have to tell you all. I hope the presentation some tips of this 3MT. And here I want to give you some recommendations from my experience. So practice make it perfect, as I mentioned before. So please practice prior to your presentation and record and listen to your talk and try to identify the weak points, and dress professionally, but it has to be very comfortable. But in this time, since it's going to be a virtual, I think it doesn't matter a lot, but you have to dress professionally since it's a presentation, right? And deliver an easy and interesting message, and make sure to give the big picture to the audience using your PowerPoint slide. And these are some resources. You can find nice 3MT presentations in these sites. You can go and find those information. And I want to thank Dr. Todd Leff and Mary Wood and also Nick for inviting me to this 3MT presentation today and coordinating, because I'm in the other part of the world, but still you agree to give me the opportunity. And thank you so much for that. And I also want to thank my mentors of Wayne State, Dr. Christy Chow, former Dean Dr. Ambika Mathur, and Dr. Gerard Schrader, because they gave me the opportunity to go away from the lab and explore the other things in Wayne State. And that's how I came up with this new knowledge and improve my soft skills as a scientist. And that means me a lot. So thank you, Wayne State, for all these opportunities. So thank you all for your participation. And if you have questions, I mean, yep, we can wait a few more minutes. Yes.
Thank you so much, Nisansala. That was really very excellent, very helpful, very informative. I would add one quick thing, and that is that the winner, all of the deadline for submitting an application for 3MT is passed. we will be announcing the finalists who will be making a presentation in the symposium later this week. And we'll contact everybody directly who's submitted an application. So thank you all for attending. If somebody has questions, we can hang around a little bit longer. I know it's pretty late or pretty early in the morning for Nisansala, but we'll hang around for another minute if somebody wants to ask her any specific questions. But thank you all very much for attending.
Yes, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Okay, you're welcome.